Parents going through a custody battle, do you know which state has the right to determine who gets primary custody of your kids? Pay attention, and you will after watching this video. Today I'm going to teach you about the UCCJEA. It's a mouthful. It stands for the Uniform Custody, Jurisdiction, and Enforcement Act. Let me tell you a story. I had a client, we'll call her Sarah, who came to me completely stressed out. At the time she came to me, she had recently moved from Georgia to Florida with her kids after separating from her husband. Now her husband was still in Georgia, and he had just filed for divorce in Georgia, and he requested custody of the children. Sarah was worried that she'd have to fight a custody battle hundreds of miles away in the Georgia courts. She asked me what would happen and how that decision would be made. That's when I explained the UCCJEA, the Uniform Child Custody, Jurisdiction, and Enforcement Act. Now, the UCCJEA is a law that helps determine which state has jurisdiction over child custody matters. That means the right to hear the case and make decisions on custody, parenting time, etc. The UCCJEA was designed to prevent situations like Sarah's, where parents might try to game the system by moving to a new state just to get a more favorable custody ruling, and then it would become unclear which state has the right to hear the case. So the UCCJEA provides those answers. In Sarah's case, because she and her children had been living in Georgia for years before the move, and because the children had not yet lived in Florida for more than 6 months prior to their father filing for divorce and custody in Georgia, well, the Georgia courts still had jurisdiction over the custody portion of the case under the UCCJEA. I know that's a mouthful, so maybe you want to watch this video a second time. But this law helps avoid conflicting custody orders from different states, and it ensures that one state, usually the child's home state, makes the key decisions on custody and parenting time. So what exactly is the UCCJEA, other than a mouthful? Well, it's a uniform law adopted by all states except Massachusetts that ensures that custody decisions are made in the child's home state. Now, the home state is where the child has lived for the 6 months immediately before the custody case is filed. However, if the child has recently moved to another state, then it's the state that the child lived in prior to the move if they were in that state for 6 months or longer, providing that they have not been in the new state for 6 consecutive months. The UCCJEA also prevents something called forum shopping, where a parent might try to move to a new state to get a more favorable ruling. Instead, it respects the child's established connections to their home state. So here's how it works in a typical situation. Number 1, home state priority. The child's home state has the first right to make custody decisions. In Sarah's case, if her and her husband's child has lived in Georgia within the last 6 months, well, then the Georgia courts will have jurisdiction over the custody issues. Second element, significant connection to a state. Now, if no state qualifies as the home state of the child, such as could happen when a parent has moved several times with the child and the child has not lived in any of those states for more than 6 months, well, then the next step is to look at whether the child and at least one parent have a significant connection to a state. So in our example, this might happen if the child has recently moved and hasn't been in the new state for more than 6 months yet. Third element is the more appropriate forum. In rare cases, another state might be a more appropriate place to handle the case, especially if there's evidence or witnesses that are crucial to the custody determination within that state. Fourth element is temporary emergency jurisdiction. If there's an emergency like a child's safety being at risk, then a state where the child is physically present can temporarily take jurisdiction. However, this is only a short-term solution. It's used very rarely, and it's only used until the appropriate home state can take over. If you're dealing with a child custody issue that crosses state lines, the UCCJEA is crucial to understand. It can make all the difference between fighting a custody battle close to home or having to do it in another state altogether, especially if you're the parent who didn't move. You don't want to have to chase the moving parent from state to state in order to enforce your right to file a case involving child custody, such as a divorce, a legitimation, a modification, etc. But every situation is unique. So if you have questions about how the UCCJEA applies to your case, reach out to an excellent, experienced family law attorney who knows the stuff and who can apply the oftentimes confusing laws to your case and your children. My advice to you is to never try and do this on your own. Child custody issues are tough enough, and the ones that involve multiple states are even harder to understand. But with the right attorney, you'll know your rights, you'll be apprised, and then have them explained to you, and you'll have the best opportunity to do the right thing for your children and to protect your relationship with them. And isn't that what's really most important to you as a parent? So get with a highly rated family law attorney and make a plan with them to succeed in getting the best outcome for your case, protecting your children's rights to you as a parent and your rights to them as their parent, okay? Thank you very much. Hey, Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to click subscribe, like, and follow, and turn on your alerts so that you'll get notified when we post these new videos. Please share these videos and leave comments and ask us questions and let us know what other topics you'd like for us to cover. Join our Facebook group at Georgia Divorce and Custody for more information. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on the next video.